You are Locked On Clippers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the Locked On Clippers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. I'm your host, Pete Fox, covering sports in LA dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA Radio and NBC Sports Radio. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Now's the perfect time to join Prize Picks. Download the app today and use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. No need to win that first bet to get the bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. Well, tonight, Clippers and Bulls went pretty much as I thought it would. Second night of a back-to-back. The Boston Celtics coming to town on Wednesday, yesterday against the Lakers. It all seemed very, very predictable to me. That being said, you know, there was some decent stuff and there was a lot of bad stuff. And all of it, I guess, can be explained away by tired legs, second night of a back-to-back. And in case I forgot to mention it, the second night of a back-to-back against the Bulls team, who were also on the second night of a back-to-back. But the difference for them is, in spite of traveling from Portland yesterday, where they lost, they're on a 5-game losing streak. And they have two guys on their team that played college ball in LA. And I know that sounds a little lame and potentially weak, but it is a thing. When a guy played in this city, they come back home to play against the local team, whether it's the Lakers or the Clippers. More often than not, it's not a guaranteed thing, but more often than not, that guy shows up and plays very well. And tonight I will say that both of them played well, being, what in the heck is going on here? Great. My computer completely locked. Awesome. Just what I need right now. Perfect. Boy. Zach Levine, of course, from UCLA, 35 points. And Vucevic had a nice game as well. Not nearly the game that Levine had, but he scored 12. And that was nice to see. But Levine, I mean, I've never really watched a lot of his games, but he's a name that if you're from around here and you pay attention to the sports going on in LA, you know what's happening. And Zach Levine is a name that we've heard for a long time, a guy that can absolutely fill it up. He can play from outside, from inside. He can do it all. And we saw a lot of that tonight. Dunking, shooting the three, a little bit of everything from Zach Levine. And it is impressive. I mean, they talked a little bit about his time back in the dunk contest. I don't know if he won it, but he was definitely in it. And it was a thrilling dunk contest, allegedly. I've never been a huge dunk contest guy. I've never been a huge all-star guy. Let's get right down to it, especially when it comes to NBA all-stars. It's the only thing I've ever really enjoyed at the NBA All-Stars is the three-point shooting for whatever reason. And yeah, occasionally there's some dunks that are thrilling and exciting, but there's really no need to watch it live. You can always, especially with social media nowadays, you can catch, you know, the highlights. So that's pretty much what I do when it comes to the NBA All-Star weekend. I've just never, the best All-Star game has always been the baseball All-Star game. And even that to me is kind of like you watch the first couple of innings and you're like, all right, I'm good. So sorry to get off on an All-Star sidetrack, but the point is that Zach Levine can do it all. He can shoot the three. He's athletic around the net and led his Bulls team to victory tonight. Although it's not officially over yet, pretty much. They're up 13 right now with about a minute to go. Lonzo Ball also from the area. Chino played for the Lakers, of course. Been out 2.5 years. Didn't have the kind of night that you would expect for a guy returning to LA. 5 points for him. The one thing that crossed my mind is it's strange to think, and I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful or anything. I of course thought the pick of Lonzo Ball for the Lakers was not a good one at the time. I thought Fox, who played for Kentucky, who's now in Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox, was a much better opportunity for them. He's turned out to be a better pro, let's be honest. But the whole LA thing and the UCLA thing, and then his dad being such a factor and all of that, and the hype machine that surrounded him. I'm always been a little surprised. I don't think he's quite the basketball player that the hype machine, primarily driven by his dad, would purport that he is. He's okay. He's an NBA player, sure, but I don't know that he's as good as they made him out to be. Anyway, the point is that after 2.5 years of not playing, he comes back. I just find it surprising that they waited that long for him. It's kind of crazy to me. 2.5 years to sit around for Lonzo Ball. Okay, whatever. That's your deal. Good for you guys. Anyway, I don't know if it's over now. My computer that I have two here. I have the one that I do the show on, and then I have another one over here that's usually like my information computer, and that is completely locked up. So please excuse the bumpiness as I'm trying to get through this. The final score tonight, 112-99. Again, Zach Levine leading the way, 35 points. He had 5 threes, 8 of 10 from the line, 11 of 21 from the floor, a plus minus of plus 20. Also a very good night for Josh Giddey. Not familiar with Josh Giddey, but he is a guy to me that is somewhat fascinating because kind of just doesn't look like a basketball player. Doesn't really even look like an athlete. He's just tall, I'm assuming. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but 6'4", 6'5", had a nice night making some shots and, filling it up for the Bulls in this win. He's Australian. How tall is Josh Giddey? I don't know. Why don't they put this right here? He is maybe if I put Josh Giddey height, there it is. First option. He's 6'8", so that's a big part of it. But it just has the flow, as they say about hockey players. So that's what makes him look to me like somewhat atypical, but a nice night, and he can definitely played 40 minutes, 7 of 9, 18 points. As for the Clippers, they just could not get it rolling. They had some glimpses of hope where they're like, hey, we're hanging in there. We haven't lost yet. We're going to rally. I mean, even down to the final couple of minutes, they had it going there. Coffee got a clear path foul, and then the ball, and then he made a bucket in the end, won. So a 5-point pay for the Clippers made it a 9-point game. But of course, the Bulls came right down and scored. The other thing about this game that was kind of frustrating is that in the fourth quarter, the Bulls started 0 for 10. They made all their points at the foul line. So that was frustrating. That again leads me back to second night of a back-to-back. Tired legs, tired everything, tired mentality, lazy. Lots of fouling, just so much fouling. Start of the third, I wrote the note that I thought the Clips D looked pretty good. Done. Derek Jones Jr., playing well, active, energy. And then all of a sudden, they all just went to sleep and ran out of gas. Their shooting especially went ice cold. The game started for them ice cold. They were 1 for 8 to start. You had some hope thinking, well, the Bulls are 1-6 on the second night of a back-to-back this season and on a 5-game losing streak. So the Clippers, after a pretty bad first quarter where they were down 25-18, shooting 26%, into the second quarter, they were hanging around, staying in reach. So we'll get to how more specifically they stayed in this game until, the third quarter when they weren't in the game anymore. We'll also get to the bucket list, which there was plenty of those. And I have a comment about Porter Jr. that I think the three of you watching tonight are going to be like, what? Are you crazy? Well, I think it is a little bit of a crazy comment, but I will share it with you next. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Let me see if I can get the Prize Picks script up here in front of me. Of course, I'm on the wrong ad calendar. This is live media. We used to say live radio. That's what makes it live. Got to roll with the punches. Although this isn't radio. It's YouTube. And we thank you guys for watching on YouTube and listening wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel or the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. But basketball season is heating up. There's no better way to get real money action while watching your favorite NBA stars than with Prize Picks. Whether you're a diehard fan, you just love some friendly competition, Prize Picks is perfect for you to make every game a little bit more interesting. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on at least 2 players from 2 teams. And up to 6 players can win you 1,000 times your money. So go to prizepicks.com, download the app, or use the website the old-fashioned way and get this offer instantly. Locked On NBA is the code you need. You'll get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's right. Your first $5 lineup can get you a $50 bonus instantly. No need to win to get that bonus. It is guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. So the Clippers fall tonight. Final score 112-99, snapping their 4-game winning streak while the Bulls snapped a 5-game losing streak. Zach Levine led the way for the Bulls. As for the Clippers, nice night for Norm Powell. As he tried to keep up with his fellow UCLA Bruin, Zach Levine, but couldn't quite hang in there. 9 of 22, 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. Again, the shooting tonight, especially from downtown, was abysmal. 9 of 42. Yeah, that's not going to get it done when the Bulls, again, they weren't shooting lights out from the arc, but they played much better. Their defense was better. Everything about the Bulls tonight, in spite of being on a back-to-back, just was better. 9 of 42 were the Clippers from beyond the arc. That's 21%, and 37 of 94 from the floor for 39%. But here's the good news, a little good news. The second unit that came in the second quarter, Porter Jr., Mo Bamba, who else played well? Nick Batum, although he didn't score at all, he played well. Those guys got the Clippers back into the game, primarily with defense. The defense was active. Porter Jr. is making some passes, athletic around the rim, dunking. He made a sweet pass to Terrence Mann that was highlight worthy. And here's my crazy comment about Porter Jr. I think he is the most athletic, thrilling, exciting player on the Clippers team. Now, that doesn't mean, don't get me wrong here, don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying he's the best player on the Clippers team. I think he is, when he's playing well, when it's rolling for him, 3 times a game, he is the most exciting Clipper on the team. Tell me somebody who's more exciting, more athletic. I mean, I was thinking, is Kawhi? Kawhi is just better. I don't know that he's more athletic and more exciting. Derek Jones Jr. is in the conversation. James Harden is a better shooter, of course. So is Norm Powell. And Norm Powell is this will be my only argument that I would agree with you on. Norm Powell is almost as athletic, but he can't elevate the way Porter Jr. can. He's a much better shooter, of course. But Amir Coffey's not more exciting. Terrence Mann's not more exciting. Kevin Porter Jr. is the most exciting Clipper. And I'm saying this on a night when he went 1 for 10 for 2 points. But those 2 points were thrilling. They were fantastic. I thought he played well, and then I saw his number. I'm like, oh God, tough night to bring this argument up. But hey, there's now one of you watching. So that one person who's watching right now, feel free to disagree with me or maybe agree. I don't know. Oh, I got two now. we're smoking. Tough night. Clippers get beat up on the second night of a back-to-back. My computer locks up and there's two people paying attention. So we appreciate you guys that have downloaded the podcast and are listening. I know that number will be much higher. But the Bulls just kept going on runs, 8-0 run at the 4-minute mark of the second. But Norm Powell, weaving through traffic, made a nice basket. He was penetrating, playing hard. So you got to appreciate that from Norm Powell. I thought that's how they got back into the game in the second. And, that was the word from the sideline from Christina Pink that's what the Clippers need to do going, after the half, going into the third, to, get back into this game and make it interesting. They got to get more points in the paint. That is more, I keep going to this computer over there, which is locked and still doing nothing. This computer, Apple computers are great. They never lock up. Wrong. So I have the points in the paint for the the Clippers on this computer, which is locked. I don't have them on the computer that is working and in front of me. So I apologize. I do know that the Bulls were much better in the paint. The Bulls were much better in pretty much every aspect of this game, although their shooting wasn't dramatically better. And that's what's interesting. They only shot 40% from the floor and 32% from beyond the arc. Again, a few percentage points better from the floor, 1 percentage point better from the floor, but from beyond the arc, again, Clippers were 21%, so 11% better. And that's just not going to get it done. Another thing that you could be proud of or feel good about for the Clippers in this fairly ugly loss, only 9 turnovers, but 20 personal fouls. And that's where it fell apart for them in the third quarter. Let's get to the bucket list tonight. For number 5, Mo Bamba hit a 3. It was the first 3 of the night for the Clippers at the 7:38 mark of the first. It made it 10-5 Bulls. Mo Bamba got the start tonight because I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but both Kawhi Leonard, obviously we knew he'd be out because it was the second night of a back-to-back. He was there at the game sitting on the bench, but did not suit up and play. Neither did Ivica Zubac. Had a little bit of an injury, I guess, last night. So they kept him out of the second night of a back-to-back as well, getting ready for the Boston Celtics on Wednesday. So Mo Bamba got the start, played 15 minutes, 4 of 7, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc for 10 points. So that was nice to see. For number 4, Derek Jones Jr. had a sweet spin move at the elbow for a layup at the 4:23 mark of the first. That made it 13-10 Bulls. So the Clippers trying to climb back into it in an ugly first quarter. For number 3, Terrence Mann had an alley-oop from Coffey at the 8:40 mark of the second. This put the Clippers in front, 30-27. Mo Bamba hit his second 3. It was a straightaway 3. 10:50 of the third. It was tied at 50 coming out of the, it was Clippers were up 2 at the break, 50-48. Bulls came out, scored early in the third, and then Mo Bamba hit that 3 straight away to make it 53-50. I love watching big men shoot the deep ball. It's kind of atypical, but it's nice to see when Mo Bamba bangs those down. And for number 1, a couple of baskets for Norm Powell. Had a sweet dribble drive at the 7:49 mark of the fourth and an and one to go with it. 58-75 Bulls at that point as the Clippers kept clawing away, trying to figure out something little by little. And then at the 7-11 mark, he had another very sweet layup. But again, the closest they got there in the fourth was down 9, and the Bulls just kind of kept making baskets. Kobe Brown came into the game, played some nice defense. That was nice to see. Played 11 minutes, had a dunk, 5 points, put in some good effort on Zach Levine. But again, Zach Levine was just having a night. He was a little too much for Kobe Brown. So the Clippers fall again, 112-99. They're now 24-17, 15-6 at home. The Bulls under 500, 18-25 and 10-10 on the road with the win. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Place to hang out when every game is done. We appreciate you allowing us to be your source for your team every day. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Clippers postcast also brought to you by FanDuel. From the first whistle to the final drive, FanDuel makes the NFL playoffs even more exciting. Right now, new customers to FanDuel can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets. Wow. They're taking it up a notch. That's a whole new level. That's sweet. Was $250 over the weekend. So they've just thrown in an extra $50 here for the playoffs as we get to the AFC and NFC championship games coming up this weekend. But there's a little caveat there. You got to win your first bet. So make sure you have a guaranteed lock there. It's $300 to keep the action going of bonus bets from FanDuel. Check out the FanDuel app. It's easy to navigate, and the variety of bets keeps every game exciting. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around for your winnings. That is a huge bonus. Whether you're betting on your favorite team or just looking to add some extra excitement to the playoffs, FanDuel has got you covered. Visit FanDuel.com, join today, and get started with $300 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So the Clippers fall tonight, snapping their 4-game winning streak, 112-99, 9 threes on 42 attempts. That's just not enough. There was a point where the Bulls went on a 30-7 run in the third. And then Harden had this weird flagrant one, which many of us thought could have been a flagrant two because it just didn't seem necessary. It was really out of the blue. He's down in the low post, and I don't remember who the Bulls player was that was penetrating, but Harden just put up his elbow, and I think it was Patrick Williams potentially. Oh no, it was Dalen Terry, and Harden just throated him with his elbow. And they only called it a flagrant one because he didn't punch. He didn't move towards Terry. He just kind of put his elbow up. And it's odd because that's not the kind of stuff you see from Harden. He's not a dirty player. He doesn't play like that. He's the guy always trying to draw the foul. He's not the guy that's fouling guys rough like that. And it just kind of, I don't know if he's frustrated. It just seems so bizarre and out of character. He's down there in the low post, which is maybe potentially a uncomfortable position for him down there. I don't know, but all of a sudden Terry's penetrating and Harden just throws his elbow. So I was kind of like, that's very, very strange and atypical. I know I've used atypical tonight a few times, but it's what it felt like to me. It just, a lot of things about this game were not the norm. They were off, different, atypical. So that was just one of them. But yeah, the Clippers from beyond the arc was a big part of why they couldn't really get back into this game in the second half. They went cold shooting, and then their defense kind of just went to sleep. It wasn't terrible, but you can't get back into a game like that if you can't make baskets. Yeah, you can get some stops, and especially the Bulls were handing it to them. Bulls were giving them the opportunity. They didn't just keep the door cracked. They left it wide open. They went 0 for 10 to start the fourth quarter. And the Clippers couldn't do anything with that. So that's when it's like just not your night, right? Second night of a back-to-back, and we're tired. And quite honestly, it's fine if we lose this game. I really wasn't surprised in the least bit, especially with the Bulls needing a win, having dropped 5 in a row, and the Boston Celtics right around the corner on Wednesday in a game that the Clippers will come out with a different attitude, a completely different energy, much like we saw from them last night against the Lakers. Obviously, that's always an important game for the Clippers. Even more so now that, they're at Intuit Dome, and this was the Lakers' first visit to the Intuit Dome. And I saw one person describe it as, it's the Kamenetsky brothers who do Locked On Lakers podcast. they described it as the Clippers outclassing the Lakers. And fair enough. Yeah, I thought that was a good way to describe it. Clippers just came out and played better across the board. Tonight, that was not the case. They didn't do really anything better than the Bulls. They hung around. They did their best to make it interesting. They had some spurts where, they were staying in reach to make it interesting and, not get embarrassed. I think the largest deficit was 18-20. So, they hung around. They made it at least respectable. But, when you miss 20 of 27 in the third, just not enough, in spite of the Bulls missing, 10 in a row to start the fourth, it wasn't going to get it done. So I'm not terribly upset about what we saw tonight. I'm not frustrated. I don't look at this and go, that's unforgivable. It's completely understandable, expected, and 100% forgettable. Like, let's just move on. This is a page turner, and we'll have an off day tomorrow, back at it on Wednesday against the Boston Celtics. And I think we're going to enjoy that one a whole lot more than we enjoyed tonight. I don't believe with Kawhi back and the way they've been playing through this little win streak, I don't think they're going to go out and get embarrassed by the Celtics. Now, they may lose because they probably still have that stupid minute restriction hanging over Kawhi's head, which I think it's time to, they said 5 games. It's been 5 games. So hopefully Kawhi is unleashed on Wednesday against the Celtics, and we get a full 28 to 30 minutes from him. And we see what we've got here, because I feel like it's pretty good, and it'll be a true test on Wednesday against the Boston Celtics at Intuit Dome. So that's when we'll talk again, when that game is over, right here on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. Of course, you can also download us wherever you find your podcasts on the Locked On Clippers podcast feed. Bulls win this one 112-99 as the Clippers fall to 24-17. Bulls improve to 18-25. We appreciate you watching and listening. I am Pete Fox. It's the Locked On Clippers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. Have a good night. We'll talk on